Hello everyone, welcome to Mr. Holloway's Foundational Python Skills series. In this video, I'm going to cover the print function a little bit more in depth. I covered it in the first video, but I just wanted to cover some more things about the print function specifically. So let's get started. Now, if you notice here, these are the four things I'm going to cover. If you notice here, I have 4 comments, and we can tell they're comments because they are using the hashtag. And if I click run, you'll notice here nothing executes, and so the interpreter is going to ignore that. All right, so the first thing I want to cover is just quotes. And so in the first video we talked about the print function, and we used print and we said hello world. Okay, and notice I used double quotes. Okay, and as a habit, I would just suggest using double quotes all the time. You could actually use single quotes. It's not going to change. It's just more stylistically, but I would get in the habit of using double quotes. Now here it's just single quotes, and again we get hello world, so it's not going to change anything. But as you get further along in programming, there may be cases where like for example, if you're using JSON, you may want to use, which uses double quotes. You may want to just start using it from this point on. All right. Now, another example, if I wanted to say hello world and I wanted to say Bob. Okay. So now notice I have a single quotes and double quotes. And if I run this, the quote is actually included. So that may be one case where if you have some sort of expression or sentence or anything that you wanted to print out, you could have the double quotes. But in this case, I'm just going to keep using double quotes. All right, we'll just use double quotes for your functions. All right, for your print function statement. Okay. All right, so that's that. All right, so there we go. All right, the next thing I want to cover is we're going to cover this more in the functions video, but I would like to cover the basics of arguments. All right, we didn't really talk much about that, and this is kind of early for it, but I'm gonna click over into the slides presentation, and we want to talk about arguments. Now, notice I have 3 print functions, and one has hello world, the other one has hello comma world, the other one has 3 dash comma 5 comma 10. Okay, so I want to talk about arguments. We call these things arguments. So whatever you put inside of a print function, this is a string and it's going to print out hello world, and this is one argument. Now in this case, this will print out hello world as well, but when it's separated by a comma, we would consider this as having 2 arguments. So this is one argument, this is another argument. And in this case, this is actually 3, 5, 10, and this would be 3 arguments. So 1, 2, 3. And so we call these arguments. Now, it's not a big deal now because we're not really covering functions yet, but I'm going to start to use that kind of language where we're going to talk about arguments. All right, so let's see how these look when they print out. Okay, so I'm going to comment this one out because we're not using that one. And let's say print hello world, which we know the result is going to be simple. Okay, so we'll get hello world, looks good. And then let's go print hello, and then I'm going to add a second argument, and I'm going to say world. Okay, and basically going to be the same thing. Now this is going to make a lot more sense as we start to do functions more and more, but because we're pretty much getting the same thing. But in this case, I'm going to add 3 arguments, but I'm just going to add them, add numbers, and I'm just going to put 19. Okay, and let's see what prints out. Okay, and so now that's what we get. All right, this will make a lot more sense when we talk about functions in general, when we start to make custom functions. But in this case, we're just using the print method, the print function, to show how you can add different arguments. All right, you could even do a string. So I could say Bob, and I could say 10, and let's see what that would look like. So now, same thing here. We still have 2 arguments, but when we print it now, we're going to get this. All right. Now I want to comment this out. I want to move on to functions and expressions. Okay, so instead of commenting each line out, I'm going to do the multi-line comment. If you guys remember how to do that, it's just three quotes. And then I'm just going to take this and copy this. So it's 3 quotes on the bottom and 3 quotes on the top, and that will give us the multi-line comment. And now let me clear this. And if I click run, nothing happens because none of the code is actually executing now. All right, so let's talk about expressions a little bit more. So expressions are different than equations. Expressions simply don't have an equal sign. Equations have an equal sign. So this could be an expression that we could use. And if you remember PEMDAS, so we can do 4 divided by 2 plus 7. Okay, so the print function can evaluate these expressions as well. So if you need to evaluate something, you can do that. And notice we get 13.0. We're going to talk about data types. This is a float, which we'll talk about in the next video. So we can evaluate expressions. You can also do things like this. You could say print 3 is less than 10. Okay, so now is 3 less than 10? No, that is not true. So we're going to get, oh, I'm sorry, that is true. So we're going to get true. Okay. But if I did greater than, we would get false. Okay. So we can do things like that. And then we can also use the comparison operator, where I'm going to talk specifically more about the comparison operator in a sec, in some future videos. But the comparison operator is just double equals. And so we're basically, what we're saying here in this statement is, we're saying, is 3 equal to 10, or is it compared to 10? Does it compare to 10? Though, and this is going to be false. So we get back another what's called the boolean expression. So booleans are just true and false statements. And to make this true, I could just say 10. All right, and we'll get true there. All right. Now the last thing I want to cover is the set parameter. It is not used often. I don't use it. I'm not sure. There's probably people out there that do use it, but I don't use it as much. But let's say I wanted to do print hello, and then I'm going to add an argument of another argument as world, and then I'm going to add another argument here. I'm going to say sep, short for separator, and I'm going to say equals, and I'm going to do the a dash there. And let's see what happens with this. Let me clear this here, and I'm going to click run, and notice it separates every argument. It basically separates with a dash. Okay, so if I'm going to let me take that away. So I'm going to take that space away, and let's run it again, and you'll see how it just does that. So it's useful at some point, and just to show you that it can work with multiple arguments, I'm going to add another argument. I'm going to say hello world today. Okay, and I'm going to add, so right now I have 4 arguments. I have 3 strings, and I have the sep parameter as an argument in here, and I'm going to run it. It's clear, and there it is. Okay, so if I wanted to separate it with a dash, if I wanted to separate it with the money sign, I could do that. Okay, not sure where this is useful, but it is a capability, and you may find some use for it. All right, so that concludes this video. If you like the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.